6-inch, wasn't it? 44 mag. At the time, the most powerful handgun in the world. And I know it's disappointing that I don't know what the most powerful handgun in the world is now.
Alright, we are running. Let me make sure.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
I want no answers, I want them now.
Welcome to AiQ, the all-in question live show with your host, Don Regal
Isn't that a lovely name?
and Mr. Ramon,
You're famous.
bringing you the most intriguing questions of the day with live call-ins
Am I in the air?
and interviews. Are you ready to go all in?
Yes.
Let us begin.
Attention, everyone. Are you ready?
Let us begin.
Yeah. Who was that? Sounded like the voice of God right there. Voice of God right there. You know what it is. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
That's what you're telling me?
That's what I'm telling you. The voice of God came down and blessed the show. AiQ.
Good looking out.
Radio. Yeah. It's what we do. It's what we do. All right. Show number 4. AiQ. Thank you guys for coming. Joining us here on this Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, it's kind of...
You could be anywhere in the world. You chose to be here. I appreciate that.
Yeah, because, well, we're not going to get into what I did today where it should have been earlier, but it is what it is.
It happens. It's all par for the course.
Yeah, but, you know, you got to learn from your mistakes, as they always say, so...
And that we do. Get better. Build on something. Once again, it's February the 2nd, 2020.
Groundhog's Day.
Groundhog Day. It's Black History Month.
Yes, Black History Month.
History Month is what they're giving us. It's what they call it.
Yeah, something we're going to dive into. But real quick, I want to give a happy birthday to my Aunt Mildred.
Happy birthday, Aunt Mildred.
Turned 75 today.
Ooh, putting the number out there.
Well, I mean, you know,
Putting the lady number out there.
she's still out there being a Mildred. So,
She out there doing her thing.
yeah, my grandma's the one I can't get the number out to, you know.
The matriarch.
Yes, but I had to make sure I said that on air.
Happy birthday, Aunt Mildred. Have many, many more. Blessed to see another one, you know.
Yes, sir.
And today we are, again, reminding you that we are on Facebook and YouTube at the same time, simulcasting, so you can watch on both of those platforms, which one would be most convenient to you and for you. Leave your comments there, like, comment, subscribe, share, do those things, and that would greatly help us out with the show. As also, you can call in to the show here. Yeah, you can call in directly. Make sure you do that.
It should be flashing real soon.
It should be flashing real soon.
So it is 312-554-5785.
312-554-8754. That's great. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that graphic didn't go. Sometimes things like that happen. And then sometimes they show up. Oh, look at him. Look at him. There he is. There's the graphic right there. That's good. Good. Get back there. Yes. That's why I say I love technology. The surpriseness of it. Isn't it also spry?
But you always tell me it's not a surprise. It's just always on point.
Happy incidents.
Unless human beings affect it, right?
Exactly. There you go.
Of course,
The radical tangent we call human beings.
the ones who created the technology, but we're the enemy of it.
Hey, we're the destructors and constructors of it.
Yeah.
Good for it and bad for it at the same time. If we leave it alone, it can do its thing, but we have to improve. We have to make it better. It has to be.
Though I thought it was made for us to be, happy and doing things that we might want to not do, or just making things faster.
Yeah, make things faster, better, stronger. That's what they tell us. It sounds good in the song, but we have to march on. We have to march on and make things better.
Right.
Improvement, onward and upward mobility. That is the key.
Now, you mentioned Black History Month.
Yes, I did. Black History Month. 28 days. Wait, what, leap year? So what are we? 29 days this month.
Also leap year this year?
Yeah. So 29 days. We got to upgrade.
Yeah, upgrade.
We got to upgrade.
But it seems like a lot of the younger generation is forgetting about it. They would twerk on it, then learn about who Stokely Carmichael is, or Langston Hughes.
Langston Hughes, yeah.
Or, different ones. But, okay, we talked about this and we're going to talk about it all month long. Because when I was a kid, it was real important to know about, the pioneers of different things being black.
Sure.
They contribute, what they contribute to society in America or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it came from Carter Woodson, who was a historian, a black historian. And he started off as being for a week in February. Now his reason was Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. We discussed all the time about Abraham Lincoln's the really thought of the slaves and everything.
His shifty individualness of keeping the country together no matter what, no matter who.
So to carry it further, a lot of students from Kent State out in Ohio, they made it into a whole month. So it doesn't sound like it was just, Master or whoever just gave black people the month. It seems like the black people made that decision for themselves. But like I said, I remember being a kid, and I remember always having to, celebrating it and everything. And, I had no problem with that. I had a lot of pride, but here's the things I started understanding when I got older. It seems like the ones that were celebrated, we're talking about the black pioneers of, let's say, technology, literature, even sports or anything like that. I guess they were non-confrontational.
There you go. Non-threatening.
Non-threatening.
At the max. Yeah. To get ahead, you got to get along. The get along mentality, and then proximity, being close to those things. Like think about inventors who did the medicines, things like that. They had to be within proximity of these schools and universities, and to do that, they had to behave a certain way. They couldn't seem too upset about the condition overall of their people. They had to take everything on an individual standpoint. I am an individual. This is happening to me now. I'm going to do for myself in this condition that I am in, not the overall
narrative of we as a people, we as a group this was done together. So they had to look out for themselves. It works in some situations, in lots of situations. Keep your head down, do the thing. You'll get certain handouts. They'll hand you up. Now, that can also hem you up because you have nobody to back you up truly. You have nobody that truly has your back. So you put on inventions and somebody says, well, let me take that invention and take a look at it and, see what John thinks of it. John takes your invention, looks at it. That's a great invention there. You say your friend did that? Well, mostly with my guidance, but, he made that happen.
Right,
well, you need to go ahead and file that thing there. He can't file the thing. Well, I'll file that. So think about all these inventions and whatnot that were filed under somebody else's name because they didn't want to either give the true who did it credit, or they thought that it would have less weight to it if that person brought it up. Because there are definitely people who abolitionists who helped out greatly in situations like all that.
No doubt. I mean,
but then some of them, like what was the line from the movie? He said about the remarkable Negro.
Oh, the exceptional nigga.
Exceptional. He said, you are no doubt exceptional. But yeah, at the end of the day, you are still. and that's how he put it, And that was harsh.
I mean, you go all the way to that. Let's even talk about Malcolm X, a quote from there. And we're talking about a black man creating something, but we couldn't have that, you're getting good grades. Everybody likes you. Mm-hmm. But you're a nigger, and niggers can't be lawyers.
and that's what I'm saying. That shoot down, because that's their reality. That's their reality. They're giving it to you. They're like, this is white supremacy that's happening right here. Without seeing that, this is the way things are.
Man, it really bothers me, and just to think about everything they say that we couldn't do. Mm-hmm. We proved them wrong with flying colors.
Yes.
And then you come with an invention, or you come up with some medicine that helps out everybody.
Right.
We're not just talking about black people. We're talking about everybody.
Everybody, the world.
But you that selfish and you that self-centered to say that, I can't have a black man say that he came up with this who actually did. So I'm going to say, well, he helped me a little bit, but I'm the one who started it, and I'm going to patent it.
Exactly. You got some people who are like, hey, they rather die. They'd rather die than
stole his legacy. That's basically what
you did. You did. The glory and the accolades to go along with that, you killed it. But they'd rather die before taking assistance or giving acknowledgement and things like that. And not know why they rather die.
Oh man, that's deep.
That's the craziest part. And we got people dying every day, dying in the sense that like people who calling in or doing crazy things and getting themselves fired from their jobs. They will risk their livelihood. They will risk their day-to-day livelihood, get fired from their jobs to act crazy because you're a person. You do something. Somebody films you online doing this crazy thing, and you're blah 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 blah. Your employee gets that gets online, gets going, gets viral. Your employee gets their hands on that. Next thing you know, unemployment. You just gave up your entire life. You killed yourself pretty much for that piece of entitlement. Of stated entitlement, to state this piece of entitlement that you have.
So you're saying that pride gets in the way a lot of times.
Pride goes before the fall, right there, and they fall hard, right into that line.
I don't know. It's weird. I think a lot of people don't think they have anything else but that.
But
even
the pride,
they do, but they don't see it.
That's true. It's like at the end, all that happens is my pride. No, you have a lot. Don't get caught up on the jingle of a song, a hook of a song, and make that your life. We've seen people die. We've seen people die making a jingle from a hook from a song. they're healed it down. You know, lots of Tupac lyrics done got people. Jeez, and lots of country lyrics done got people done up the same way.
Yeah, man, it definitely, you got that state of mind, and then you hit on certain words or something like that, and just all perked up and everything.
Yeah.
They feel me, they understand me.
They
Hey, man, let's go for it.
They know what I'm saying. I feel it in my soul. We gonna do it. And they go out there, put themselves out there. Nowadays, things you do are getting recorded and goes viral. Companies are trying to fight to be people nowadays. They're trying to fight to be people, so they don't want a certain image taken. They don't want a certain image being put out there of themselves.
So let's go back into, like I said, they were picking, like you said, the non-threatening Negroes. I always like that. Or, yeah, I can go into the exceptional nigga thing, but the whole non-threatening Negroes. So what the kids are missing out on are, I'm going to say, pioneers like Marcus Garvey, who he was talking about going back to Africa, but I think he was trying to more or less build a relationship with Africa.
Yeah, starting of Pan-Africanism. Yeah,
right.
You get everybody realizing where they come from, not to just say to go back, but to make it have allies. It's all about having allies, And
they know this because they have them.
Exactly, and then they fight hard for it. They fight hard for it. That's one of the reasons. Bring it up into modern times that the established politicians are upset about our current president's 45's flippantness when it comes to our allies. Like it take a lot for us to get this, and you playing with it. It can be lost easily, and he don't understand that. So
that's the Republicans, and that's their fault because they allow him to run his mouth and do all the things that he does. I mean, I know that somehow he's supposed to be controlled or guided by them, if you want to use that word.
Yeah.
But he feels he can do what he wants. So it's going back in their face, and I'm glad it is.
Kid in the candy store mentality. He see all the shiny things and the buttons, and he wants to touch them. He's figured, and he was trying to wonder why nobody's climbed on the shelf and grabbed that big glass vase that says "Do not touch." I mean, come on, it's there. He wants to do it.
So one question I did want to ask you was: is Black history really harboring on us? Because if you think about all the what we contribute to this country. Should it even be a Black History Month?
Okay, so to take away the recognition of it, the recognition is more like a annual getting tuned. This is a thing. You can't say like let's take away from Chinese New Year. Because that's the thing and that's their thing, and it's established on their own. And we see it and observe it, and that's that.
Well, they brought that over.
They brought that over, right? They brought that over there. Then you got, what about St. Patrick's Day for the Irish? You got that thing, they see their thing, they do their thing. They brought that over here.
And I don't even know what the hell they're celebrating.
Hey, but they brought that over here. They did that. And then you have Cinco de Mayo holidays and some small indigenous holidays that I observed. But things that were brought over there in through tradition. We have none of that. Because one of the first things you do when you take somebody is you take everything.
Right.
You take everything, and then you make them want, and then you give them part of what they want, and then you tell them to be grateful for what they got and don't think about what you had, because all that's going to do is leave you sad. So you continue on, stay in the same path, same old things, doing the same stuff. And it's like, don't look at the past. Why are you looking at the past for? You don't look at the past because they don't want you to look back really far. Because if you look back far enough, 6,000 years, this has been going on, this dynamic back and forth. It's ridiculous. And then it's always this big period of forgetfulness. These lows are where we would get lullabied back to sleep.
And you say the dynamic, so you elaborate on what you mean by that.
The dynamic of coming out of Africa. The the child fighting the parent, the offspring being upset that it's not in charge.
Right. Oh, okay.
So you come back to the home and you wreck it.
It's clear.
You come back to the home and you wreck it. You were once the same, the exact same. You left. That's fine. People leave and they change. And you left and you changed. Then you came back, or you were rediscovered. And you were different. But we knew you were still you. You weren't a creature. You weren't an alien. You weren't any of those things. You were still you. You just appeared different. The weight of the world changed what you looked like. You came back, but we still recognize you are you, still you. But then they came back with a vehement anger, almost to say a jealousy, and it's like, okay,
which makes no sense
because they warred with each other. You know, not to say that the base didn't do that, but they did this, and they were off in their wilds and on their own, and they warred against each other and hurt each other and all these things. Come back down to it. When we meet them again, when we meet our cousins again, basically that's what you can call it. Because you basically, I meet my cousins I ain't seen since I was 5. We now 45, and it's like changed a lot, you know. But I still recognize this is my cousin. Whereas this person, like, you never looked for me, you never called me, you never took the other hand. You didn't wonder what I was doing. You went out into the world to sow your royal, to find new. So I let you traverse through this land. No magicals, nothing. The shape of the planet changes. You get blocked off from certain things. And then we meet again, and it's on.
So here's my thing. When I mean about, that 1 month,
mm-hmm.
I really get a thought of the magnitude of these inventions, the stoplight.
Okay.
The gas mask.
Mm-hmm.
The heart surgery.
Mm-hmm. Open heart surgery, yeah.
This was not just something, like I say, that was just in the black community.
No.
This is stuff that's been used universally.
Right. Yeah, and everybody take advantage of it, and can take advantage of it. It's just that look where it's coming from. You know, that's like saying, I don't want this delicious ice cream, which I love so much, with all these cherries and toppings and whatnot on it, because it came on a paper plate. And I despise paper plates.
And you ask yourself, what did that paper plate do to you?
Exactly. All that paper plate is doing its job.
Right.
It's supporting it. It's supporting this heavy cake. You know, it's making it happen. It's presenting it to you, the people. Everybody can get it. Everybody can get some of it. And that's what, as Black Americans, that's what you've done. You put your work out there. And you sweat and you grind. You died in every last war. You did all of this. Inventions on top of inventions. Helping out in your own demise with the cotton gin, but doing all these things to make things better for everybody.
Like you say, everybody.
Yeah, for everybody. And then, you still got that suffrage of, I don't like you. I don't know why I don't like you, Tom, but I don't like you.
I mean, it's just mind-blowing on, just like you say, and they don't even know why they gotta feel that way. They can't accept that, and I don't want to sound like, I hate white people.
No,
that's not the case right here.
No.
It's just the ones that, can't give recognition.
And like I keep harping on the fact that it's not white people. It's white supremacy. That's the major difference. Not white people. White supremacy. Because you have some people of color, some melanated Manitobas that will get out there and do some of the dirtiest and hardest fighting for white supremacy. You say, I've never seen, with the exception of a dog guarding a yard. That's the analogy I like to use. A dog guarding a yard inside of a house. A dog chained to a tree in a yard fenced in a house that he would never, ever be welcome inside of, but will bark like crazy to keep that squirrel out. He's like, I'm going to keep that squirrel up out of here. You know, I can keep this squirrel out of this yard no matter what. No, you can't get in here. You can't get in my house. It's my house. I built this house. I was in this house. I've been here forever. You know, I came first. No. Me. and just go crazy and get in a tail. He out here trying to get in the yard. It's ridiculous.
So at this present time, I mean, I'm noticing a lot of young people who are forgetting about some of the contributions, a lot of the contributions. What am I talking about? Some of the contributions. A lot of the contributions like that. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing I want to ask you too. Far as I have this thing that I respect athletes, mm-hmm. especially if you made strides and breakthroughs with even like the color lines or something like that.
Yeah.
But my thing is this: why is it that we have to have entertainers and athletes to be our major heroes? That I would say, not like the lady who came up with the math formula or helped the math formula with NASA, black lady.
Computations, yeah. Actual human computers, people. Yeah. Remember, they were people before they were actual machines. Computators were people. That's Hidden Figures gave the general public that those didn't know that.
Literature. I mean, you know your James Baldwins,
mm-hmm.
who actually broke down even a lot of things we talking about, on the Invisible Man and things in that nature. You got your Langston Hughes,
mm-hmm.
With his poetry and everything like that. That history in Harlem. That's something I want to dig deep into
mm-hmm.
down the line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got, even if we talk about civil rights, no one talks about Stokely Carmichael like that. No one talks about a lot of the different other groups that were out there like that. Everybody always wants to focus on Martin Luther King, and I have no problem with that, but he was not the only leaders out there. And I think that a lot of people get dictated to, or they pick who they are giving, who's in the forefront, instead of somebody telling them. I mean, not telling them, but this is who you should pick from, or this is why he's great. Instead of, like I said, somebody running it down the line who lived it and can describe to you every different leader and what they done, and you pick on who you admire the most. If you getting what I'm trying to say right now.
Yeah. I'm going to select, like you said before, a group of non-threatening Negroes. I'm going to select those who will get along to get along, those who will beg instead of take, those who will take the punch instead of dish it. And then those who are talking that other way. I'm going to vilify that Negro to the umph degree.
I mean, what is that? Is that the one who is saying, okay, let's get our own businesses, let's get our own community started and everything?
No.
And control it like that?
No, not that one. Because I will let that one go do his thing, devil's advocate right now. I will let him go do his thing. It's fine. His community will no longer be a pain in my back. It'd be off my resources. I don't have to worry about him. But
you say that, but remember, black.
But I let you do this, and you go do this, and it's like, you come in, you're like, we need to use the bank. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, that's some nice little deposits. You're doing good business out there. That's great. Yeah, all right, cool. Next thing you know, he's doing some more business. Oh man, you guys are really putting in some business out there. This is awesome. And I get somebody come in from another county. Yeah, man, I don't know what's happening. My customers are not coming to get my produce and whatnot, and they just talking about they're over here, and I'm making up a place, Jasper. They're over there in Jasper, and they're saying that the deals are great there, and the food is fresh and whatnot, and they can turn over crops twice as quick. I'm like, oh my gosh. And they have a bigger staff and things like that. It's like, it's crazy, you know? So I'm like, how can I compete with that? What's going on? I don't know. Hold on, wait a minute. Got my customer coming in. Hey there, Hal. Oh, that's another big deposit. You guys are killing it out there in Jasper with these big deposits. Killing out there in Jasper. Big deposits. What's going on? Oh, hey, fella, you got yourself a business? Yeah, I got a business. I got a nice little business going on there. Good customers coming through. The word getting fogged 2 counties wide. 2 counties wide, you say? Over there in Jasper, getting all this revenue.
So jealousy starts sinking in.
I gotta go see this myself. Let me go see this. What's going on right here? Oh my God! Look, they are doing some things. Look at this place. It's all nice. Wow! I would not expect that from the kind. This is some things. Now there's animosity, there's jealousy, and that can be fine. That's competition. Ain't nothing wrong with competition. And this is when it gets bad, because now the banker is like, Andy ain't came in like a while to drop off any deposits from Jasper. What's going on? Let me go out there and check it out. You go out there, you see a bank being constructed. Wait a minute. They pooling their own money in their own community, and they keeping it together in Jasper? And they don't. Well, now it was bad enough when they was cutting into Clems and whatnot. Policies and procedures and whatnot. But now they cutting over here in Jasper, and they cutting into the banking.
Hell has frozen over.
Oh my God! Then who gave these Negroes money? So now they got an up and going thing, and it's happening. So now it's like, oh no,
can't have that.
Can't have that. That's competition. They're gonna start building things. Now they're not thinking we're gonna start building things. We don't have a lumber yard. We don't have a trucking yard. We don't have trucks. We don't have horses. We're gonna need to buy these things. Therefore, we are still able to do trade with you to get these things, to acquire these things. We may buy these things outright and build our own, or we may, if the numbers stay good, continue this relationship, and we both eat.
Right.
We both can eat.
And have a good relationship.
Equitable for both of us. And those who fall by the wayside do fall by the wayside. That's why I say you can't stop the future. Things happen, and jobs get eliminated. So it's going to fall by the wayside. But with that situation, then there comes one person who brings in an extreme bad attitude and go, you know what? I'm going to make it happen. And he takes all of these ongoing situations that are already happening, and it becomes the catalyst for it. Boom. Okay. It could be something as simple as you bumped into a white woman. You accidentally touched somebody on an elevator. You whistled at someone. Okay. Starts up. Now, you had your weapons and all those things, just like they had all these things, and you are trying to go back against these people and defend yourself, and you are doing this and that and the other, but then there is a step above you guys. There's your local military, National Guard. Where they live. They don't live in Jasper. They're from over there. You fighting their people. What is going on? How did they get so uppity? I gotta put a stop to this. So you go put a stop to this. You send in troops. You start dropping bombs. You burning the place down. It becomes ridiculous. And that's how you get the long roundabout way of Black Wall Street and other places that met their demise due to that type of situation. So getting your own and having your own, having pride in your own, that's great. But you got to remember you are connected to a larger part of the puzzle. That's what Marcus Garvey was about. Having your back that is bigger than you. Being connected, being plugged into another network. So when it all comes down, you don't have to just throw up the white flags and give up. You throw out the blue flags and you signal for the backup.
Right.
You let the wide out know, hey, it's going down over here. Get around the horses and come into here, help us out. You know.
Now, something that ties into all of this, and when you mentioned, we had a discussion because you guys sent me a video yesterday. The first video was kind of funny. I told you the presentation was kind of like,
oh yeah,
like you said, Chicago. But the actor's name, I'm bad with pronunciation. The guy played in Get Out. He played in the Black Panther. He played in Widows recently too. In a movie that was filmed in Chicago.
Yes, the actor Daniel Clear.
Now, he told a reporter recently that he's getting tired of talking about race. And he wants to be focused more on movies that don't talk about race or have racial issues. But somebody brought up that those are the movies that made him popular. I think the biggest thing, as you mentioned, is that we as Black Americans go through things that a lot of people of color from other countries, let's say Britain, don't understand or don't get what we go through and why we are have so much pride. We don't have any problems doing that. So the whole thing was, is it a disconnect between Black Americans and the rest of the colored people, or colored people, the rest of the people of color around the world? Because they haven't been through what we've been through, especially our ancestors, and how long ago that they were connected with that part of the part of us, like we disconnected during slavery and everything. We don't know who our families are or something like that. But getting back to what I was trying to say, I guess everybody has a different outlook. If you're not African American, that you British American, or you from Australia or somewhere, if you French or something.
And that's the thing. Why we push so hard right now to reconnect the African diaspora, all the blacks, all from everywhere. That whole return to home thing that Ghana and other countries in Africa were doing to give Americans, Black Americans, and others dual citizenship. Basically getting those lines back together. And Daniel, pretty much. Being a European Black, a lot of times they go to the opportunities. They go to the opportunity places. They weren't birthed and stuck in Europe. They weren't bred and stocked in Britain. That didn't happen. That didn't happen there. They came from other places and upgraded themselves to it. Vladimir Putin said something last year that was really trying. He said, it's a shame that the only time that you will be here was when you were born here and when you get buried here. Other than that, you want to be all over the rest of the world. He was talking about Africans. He's like, you want to be everywhere. You're trying to be everywhere else except for here. And this is where you need to be. And he was saying it as in a matter of homeland pride. It's like, man, y'all, you have a house here in this country. You have your school kids go to school in that country. You have this all over the place.
Yeah, but they coming over there to the country and he raping it and you trying to take.
And that's exactly what he was saying. He was like, your place first. Put up your fences first. And that's the thing, because he's a protagonist for them putting up.
And he know damn well, man, who has the biggest stick. That's always has always
exactly. Been. U.S. military right now has the biggest stick. The biggest stick is that nuke. And the thing is, as long as you have that, now remember, when you're dealing with first world countries, the U.S. and whatnot, the way you tweak them is through their people. You tweak them through emotional stuff.
Right.
You know, you're like, hey, this is happening. And so we the first world country, we get our feelings and was like, hey, no, don't mess with them like that. Come on, now. And then our politicians are like, God damn it, we need to do this. So they got to figure out back ways to getting around and doing what they need to do. You know,
as far as what, going to another country?
No. the oils in Djibouti, we getting in Djibouti. We gonna get in Djibouti and we gonna get that oil. We gonna figure out a way to do it. We gonna say the leader of Djibouti is illegitimate. He's hurting his people. He should be removed. And in the middle of that removal, we want y'all sign over security to us. And in the middle of y'all signing security to us, we need to put a base here. In the middle of you doing that, we need to put a supply station here so that we can get supplies here. Oh, and by the way, we'll take control over this oil field because we're here. You know, it's better. It won't cost you nothing. And so taking it by force, and then they put in a puppet to run the place. And there you go. That's how that happens. And
that's
then
what I say about Putin, though. I mean, he's saying all of this, but he knows and he has the idea of what's going on.
He knows exactly. The thing
So
is,
why
though,
make that statement?
because it puts a thorn in the side of the person who's doing it right now. You want to do it too. I want it as Putin. I want to do it too, but this person right now, they doing it, and they looking good doing it, and they looking. Let me speak on this and talk about it. Now, I can come back 20 years later. Now, not me, myself, but my entity can come back 20 years later and try to do the same thing or something like it.
So basically,
but I will.
Yeah, look here, man. You need to put your girl in check and everything like that, because dude, Slim and them, man, you know, they coming at everything like that. And in his mind, I want it too. You know? So you telling me all this, but in reality, you on the same page.
Oh no, I'm definitely. That's the thing. I am a wolf, but I am a wolf coming bearing my teeth. I'm not going. I'm your friend. I'm like, I am a wolf. He is a wolf. Let me turn you some dirt about this wolf. Now, just to let you know about this, you're gonna wise up to because that wolf was going. We're friends. We're buddies. Da, 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 da.
That's what I'm trying to get. What advantage are you getting?
My advantage because I destabilized things. I destabilized the connection I had, which that's fine. Now I can go back and I can reset. I can hide my things, or I can come in and go. Well, I am going to come in here and ravage the place, but I'm not going to ravage it all. Yeah. Because that would work for me. Not ravaging it all, then that way I can ravage for a longer time. And this way, it's better than the one that was ravaging you all this time long.
I gotta be totally stupid to let you come in here and say that you are go ravage only a little bit.
A little bit.
No, you're not gonna ravage anything. If I'm not gonna allow him to do it, then what do you think I'm gonna allow you to do it?
And that's the thing. You've been allowing him to do it. Remember, you didn't know the extent as to what was going on. There was a lot more put into place that you didn't know that was happening. I went ahead and I just opened the book. I would Snowden everybody. Oh, download, send it all. I send you everything. You was like, what? He killed my mama? You know, I let you know everything, and that's what the whistleblowers do. They let you know everything. It's like you knew the person that you were working with or working for was bad. You didn't know how bad. You was like, oh, he gets on my nerves. Can't stand him. You didn't know that the reason that he didn't let you go to such and such because he was doing your mom's. He was doing your wife.
But you know what, man? My father got my father has not a quote, but he's got a saying though.
I think I know this one.
It's not even a saying. It's actually about life. He said people get caught up in just appearances or what people do real quick, you know, and get distracted. But he said if you sit there and you observe and you look long enough, you'll find out what that person's are really about.
Mm-hmm.
So, you come over there and bearing gifts or something, and then, they're taking over your planet. Or let's say it was a planet. Yeah, they're taking over your planet and everything like that. We don't really do that. I mean, we did that to the small ones, but they were like small. But we respect you and everything.
You're different. You're pretty.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there listening. I'm not even gonna say anything else. I'm not looking at what you bring to me. I'm not looking at your presentation. I'm looking at what you did in the past, and what you've done is something similar to me, or similar to my planet or my country, or something like that. That's what always gasses me. I mean, for us, Africa, I always thought it was they just weren't united enough to put that strength in numbers, and then put that resource. They got the resources.
You got the resources. The thing is, though, the resources of no maturity to you. The resources are of no material value to you because you don't need these resources to do anything for it because you haven't developed the weaponry or anything like that. You didn't need it. Remember, these people were once happiness pursuers. All you had to do was pursue happiness. You weren't interested in conquest. And when I say that, I'm talking about the people overall, not talking about the kingdoms. The kingdoms do what the kingdoms do. But the people overall, that wasn't the goal.
Yeah, but at the same token, though, man, you remember looking at Black Panther and how they put different spies or their war dogs out there. I would have that to find out what's going on in the world.
Yeah, that's what we've done that. I mean, but they've done that. That's what the Moors were. They were feelers out to the world. Go out there and see what's happening. You have these kingdoms, again, back with the kingdoms. You have these kingdoms who sent people to go look for things. When you find these canoes that they found on the coast of the eastern seaboard of America, old canoes from Africa that were predating Columbus. Those were kings who sent thousands of ships.
But you're talking about back then.
No.
Now.
Remember, the lessons are the same, though. The lessons are the same. You send out these fillers to find out what's out there in the world, and you do that, and sometimes you get results. Sometimes things come back. Sometimes things don't. Sometimes things are misunderstood. I didn't see nothing, so there's nothing. So you sent your friend to go look at the proposed Wolves deal, and he was like, well, I went and it's a little tight, but we can do it. But you were only given some of the details. And so you go with that deal, and it's working. It seems like it's working. It's a little tight, but it's working. You're getting tit for tat. I got Coca-Cola, McDonald's. It's happening, But then somebody else goes, you could be getting so much more from this deal, or they're taking a lot more than what they said they were taking, or what they were taking is a lot much more important for you than what you think it is. Oh, we're extracting this mineral so that we can make this, and you're like, oh, okay, the mineral ain't doing nothing to me, so okay, yeah, you're gonna give me a look, okay, I take the money for that mineral, and it's happening. Then later on, you start noticing that your corn is not growing. Like, what is going on? Why is the mountain looks okay? They're not doing anything right here. We here in the valley, and then they doing a little thing in the middle. They taking out that little thing in the middle that was helping nurture your land, and now it's like, the hell, And then the other person comes and goes, the other wolf comes and tells you, boom, boom, boom. Now, remember, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. So, for that situation. But watch out, because he's still a wolf. But this information he's giving you is valid. So you do it. You try it. And that's what it is. Right now, we are looking at people who are sending out, giving us this information, and it's like, oh man, you go back to Africa. Not go back to Africa, but look, take an eye toward Africa again. See what's going on there. See it as a valuable a place to start or restart life, or to develop something. Businesses. I mean, not like a business. Not like I'm gonna open a hair thing and that. I'm talking about opening a manufacturing. Thing, open construction. Now you're not just flipping a house. No, you are getting lands and things ready to make communities.
I think Akon is doing something.
Exactly. He did the solar project. Where he's gotten solar for 80 million people. 80 million people, and he's not a power guy. He knows nothing of power. I can speak to that. He knows nothing about power, but he brokered the deal. he brokered a deal when they say that there was no way, because energy is volatile. Getting involved in energy will get you killed. It starts wars, But you go solar, the way he did, I believe he picked up the purchases that America cut off, because America applied that 200% tax on all solar coming from China. So Akon got people together to purchase that stuff at an nth of the cost. Actually, he had got a $1 billion credit. He had got a $1 billion credit so that he could make the purchases for these nations who couldn't afford the solar. And then they pay them back on a 3-year plan. Excellent business, excellent looking out for yourself, excellent cutting the ankles of that other wolf, even though you're dealing with another wolf. China is a wolf. It's a panda wolf, but it's another wolf. You are getting something great in return, because they were sitting on a product that they cannot move. Nobody can afford this. We don't have this. You either have to have a lot of people or a lot of money. Africa doesn't have a lot of money per se.
You say that,
that's per se. When I say money, I mean I'm talking about like market level money. I'm not talking about with the resources. I'm talking about market level, because it's so volatile.
I understand what you're saying.
But they have lots of people, and those lots of people can pay a little, and that little adds up to a whole lot. Because remember, America, 350 million people. Certain corners of Africa have that many people. And so if I'm able to get into multiple bases like that, then I'm moving this product that was otherwise just going to sit here and deteriorate. Boom.
What about their so-called royalty in Africa?
It's big disappointments in a lot of the kingdoms right now. I mean, my biggest disappointment right now is the leader of the Zulu nation. He is being Francis Bia. It's ridiculous, what he's doing. Bowing down and buck dancing for them. Don't like it at all.
So he's not even seeing the light, or he refuses to.
He is on some old. They recognize me. They see me. You are the king of the Zulu.
You recognize what?
The world recognizes you, fool.
But do they respect you?
That's the thing. You go losing the respect that the Zulu has. It's crazy. I'm like, that ticks me off. I'm like, come on, man. That's like our most powerful. One of our black delegates turning himself. And I would hope never, but Louis Farrakhan, as I say, he went in there and told Trump, hey, as long as you can name a city after me, everything will be all right. And then I got Farrakhan City, and it's fine. Oh, I forget the black condition and all these things that are going on in there, and social justice warrior SGW stuff. I don't care about none of that. It's all about me, and that's what they're doing to him, the king of the Zulu right now. It's like, it's ridiculous. Going around here with these damn Neapolitan uniforms on. Like, it's ridiculous. It's sad.
How long has he been in power?
Which one? The current king of Zulu?
Yeah.
I would have to look it up to be absolutely sure. I would have to look it up to be sure. But
is this a sudden change in behavior for him, or has he always acted this way?
As he's getting older, he's getting more malleable toward that way. It's not how some people, when they get older, get stern. The way I see it, and that's the way it is, and that's the way it's gonna be. Boom, like that. No.
Yeah, I got, man, once you're stuck in your ways, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and like I say, he is.
And I mean, other rulers are trying to talk to him, aren't they?
Yeah. Other people are trying to talk to him, but let's see. Oh, right now his name is Goodwill. Lord,
did you say Goodwill?
Yeah, Goodwill.
That sounds like a name like Stevens.
Got some Christian initial name, and then is Zoelente Kabezuku Zulu. Yeah, but it says the present head of the present head of the Zulu royal family is King Goodwill Zelawente Kalabazulu, the current monarch of the Zulu nation in South Africa. He was born on the 14th of July 1948 in Nogomla, KwaZulu Natal. He became king on the death of his father Christian, KwaZulu Solomon in 1968. So he's been there since 1968. He's been in place. You know. So he was about 20. He became king when he was 20. He was 20 years old. Yeah, but you know, that's one of the
20 years old, so
I mean, and that's kind of normal.
So what is he, 60 now?
1968, he would be. Oh, what would he be? Oh, wait, don't get me lying about the math. But he is definitely.
See, you said 68.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's close to 70.
Yeah, he's close to 70.
Well, the thing about that is we don't know how long he's got.
Yeah.
So maybe, you know.
Maybe he can turn it around.
No. Maybe he'd be gone and somebody else takes it and has a different outlook. You know, as far as forget being the minstrel show.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous, man.
And right now it's all about land. Because the Zulus
recognized.
The Zulus hold a gigantic part of South Africa as land. It's huge, you know. And you know the French and the Spaniards and all that. They in Europe, the Brits, they want that. The Germans, they want that. They want that land. They want that space. They want those resources. No, keep them out. You know, that's why the African Union is very important.
And I know being a king, and I know he was around when King was assassinated and Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and everybody like that. Sorry, people, I'm a little distracted, but he should know, even in the history, what the Zulus and the
colonizers overall.
Yeah, basically the colonizers, of what they do. What their methods are, even though it changed a little bit, but they still want your land or your resources. Why are you talking about or trying to just show, if they build me a statue, we'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Or if he says my name in his press conference, we'll be fine. What? With the Zulus, that right there, man, that's disturbing. Very disturbing.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
And it's always one, you know, it's always one that stops the progress.
No, we always will be one. But that's the thing. That's why it's important that we remember where we came from. Remember to have each other's back. Remember, and that's the craziest thing. When somebody wants to abuse you, they always try to make you forget. You ever notice that? Don't bring up that old shit. Stop talking about that old stuff. Like an abusive relationship. Yeah,
man. I mean,
it's like, you know, a man or a woman, you know, they can go both ways nowadays, you know, strong. A man or a woman can put out these vibes of, you know, I want this, I want that, and the other. It's going to be good, you know, and then they do something wrong. And then you forgive them and you take them back. And then it's like, okay, everything's going good again. All right, we're getting along. It's great. And then they say something or do something that completely, you're like, okay, wait a minute. This is like last time. This is like, why are you bringing up last time? Why are you bringing up the old stuff? Come on now. That's old.
It's a repeated pattern.
It's a pattern. And you were in an abusive relationship. And much like Daniel, you need to get out.
Basically, you walking on quicksand, and you know it's quicksand, but somebody wants to put something else over there to make you forget that it's still quicksand over there.
Exactly.
You change the color,
but
it's still quicksand.
It's still a hole.
So you keep walking in there, keep sinking in. I mean, what progress are you getting? Nothing.
The end results are the same.
So I think that's what it is when they try to make you forget. Like, maybe they forgot that I always like to hit him upside the head, or
I'm a heavy drinker and I react this way, and now I'm going to hurt you
violently or something like that. Yeah,
and they do it, you know, and that's the relationship that we have with the U.S. That the the non-black American doesn't understand. This is an abusive relationship that has been going on for 400 years.
Well, you said the young blacks, but I mean, what about the elders?
No. When I say young black, I mean those that walk. my version of young means walk. You upright. See, because some of them, you about to say elders, they have that mindset because they want to be, like we discussed earlier, closer to power. I'm closer to it. I'm rubbing elbows with it. I'm good with it. I got friends.
Do they understand what power is, though?
Exactly. Proximity to power is not power itself.
People are really scared, though, man. They're just scared to embrace change or trying to make things better.
Because this is all they know. This is Stockholm Syndrome. This is all you know. It's like if a prisoner came home from being in war and slept on a hard stone floor for 13 years and then they get back home and you put them inside of a pillow bed, they will lose their mind. They will look for that hard, familiar floor. As painful as it was, it's all you knew. So you find your person that came back from war and whatnot in a basement, hugged up in a corner on the concrete, because that was the familiarity. That's how they got through it. How they rocked themselves to sleep. That's why we talked about, and we may bring this up a little later, another show, a religion in the black man. And when I say black man, I mean black people's. How we go back to these things that was used to rock us back to sleep.
One thing that I had to ask you about too, pertaining to that is, so what is the mindset of somebody who is looking for change or embrace change? What is the difference between that person who wants to be, like I always say, traditional, or always, I don't know any better, or I don't want to know better? Somebody who's kind of open-minded or is trying to discover.
Somebody who wants to break free person versus those who are afraid of a disturbance and change. It's usually the fear of failure. The thing is, you gotta fail. You gotta do it. You may fail, and if you fall, you get back up. It sounds easy, but we all do it. Otherwise, we've been all just dead and failed and gone. And
I'm a victim of that myself. And like in my early days, man, okay, man, I might fail, so why even do it? But then I start understanding when you, like you said, yeah, you might fail, but you start learning how to, endure, and then you might know how to do it better, and you learn mistakes, and then I'm not going to make that mistake now. If I get another opportunity or something like that, I can do this a different way, because I know the other way is, I don't want to say the wrong way, but it didn't give me any movement.
Right.
So I'm going to try to do it this way now, because I learned from experience.
That's why I said, don't live your life to the rap lyric. Eminem telling you only get one shot. No, you get plenty. You get plenty. How many hours out in a day? 24 of them. There you go. Give you a shot an hour. Go ahead, take a shot. Each shot. Some shots gonna hit that hit. Some shots gonna miss. But you gotta take it. I don't see anything bad about trying to reconnect to Africa. I'm not saying that we're about to go out and all start wearing kufus and and dashiki. Nah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying we all finna chart taking up Yoruba religion and things like that. And going back to the natural spiritualistic ways of doing things. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that we have to switch up language and start speaking of these others. Although it would be great for us to reconnect to a language, and I see that. Speaking of language, pure frustration when we see somebody else speak another language and we don't understand it. And I know it's a twofold thing. It's the one thing that I don't know what they're saying, and then it's the other thing is that I am ashamed that I don't know what they're saying. It's like this person right here can flip languages fluidly between their own countrymen and to talk to me, a person, and even if it's broken and little bitty, hard to understand English, you can still get some of what they're saying. Whereas if you were put in that same position, what could you do other than go, I don't know what you're talking about, I give up?
You know what though? You mentioned that. Then, like being up at the Hound, the Greyhound, you had a cab drivers that I was cool with. A lot of them were Africans.
Okay.
Now you can take this two ways. I could have asked them to teach me their language, or they could have showed me. I never understood why they never said like, "Hey, you want to see something, or could I show you something? Get me interested," and then me asking more and more.
Depends on the individual.
Yeah.
It does depend on the individual you're talking to.
But it was several of
Because
them.
some people are just naturally teachers. Some people, like myself, just like to give you the information because I want to see where you go. I do. I know I have some God complexes, but I want to see where the blank slate goes.
No, I mean,
if I can put,
I've been around God complex.
Oh no. That's the narcissistic complex. There's a difference. The God complex, whereas I want to create something in that person, a passion, a fire. And if I see something that they're interested in, I'm gonna go after it and ride alongside with
You
them.
call it a God complex?
It is creation. You're creating things. It's a God complex. The God complex overall has a bad connotation to it, but you are creating something.
Well, I think that it was, from what they say, he makes all of us to create something.
You say who did what?
Oh, the supreme being
Uh-huh.
creates us to create things.
Create to create. Now it always depends on which storyline you choose. You choose because some others say that you are just here for servitude of that creator. Some of them say that you are on the remote control and should bring back garner good results from that creator. Some of them say that you are forever for punishment. You were punished from the day you were born, and you will be punished to the day you die. And when you get back, then we'll work all that out a couple thousand years afterwards.
Yeah, you can put that in the garbage disposal. Man.
I mean, but these are all stories who people are willing to live and die for and have for so far for a couple thousand years. So there's some power behind that. So I don't dismiss them. I keep my eye on them.
yeah, but like you say, man, there's people who always go with tradition and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing too.
Yeah.
Like you said, not all of them are teachers, but it's at least about 5 or 6 of these guys that I know. I mean, one of them that I really was close with,
Right.
and he always told me he was gonna take me back to the motherland and everything like that. But it wasn't like he was trying to show me, different culture or his culture, even though he's been in this country for like 40 years.
Okay.
But he goes back over there every couple years
Yeah.
for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And it's not like I say, he's like, hey man, let me show you some more. And in our custom we do this and that, and I'm gonna take you over here to a couple of my relatives or my other countrymen and show you a few things that we do.
Right.
Nobody did that. And I think that's the disconnect right there. I know I use that word a lot.
That's a slight disconnect. But remember, what they say: closed mouth don't get fed. So if there are specifics in your knowledge where you have holes in it, you ask a question. You ask lots of questions. Me, I ask tons of questions to myself. Because I'm challenging myself to get the answer, and I just don't want the quick answer. I want the answer, and then how'd you come to the action? I want to see the math. Show me your work on the board. So that's why I ask myself those questions. So I go out and get the answer myself, and then I challenge it. Challenge it back and forth. But as for other people, if you ask a question, all they can tell you is no. If they don't want to answer, you won't get it from that person. You move on to the next one. You don't stay there asking that same person the same questions over and over again, and they already told you no, or they showed you no.
But to me, I told you there's a big difference if you African and I'm talking to you and I say, hey man, can you show me something?
Mm-hmm.
And you say no, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Another difference is when you're telling me I need to get connected with back with the African brothers and everything like that,
right.
But you're not showing me nothing.
Right, and that term, that is what they call, some people call it, do so, don't like so. Do what I do. Do what I say, but don't Don't do what I do. It's like I gotta mess that up. But they don't want you to. They want you to ask them, but I just want you to ask. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm not going to give you any of this power right here.
And I hate that mentality. I really do, man.
But I want you to ask. I want you to get inquisitive.
I mean, I'm not the type of person to, hear somebody brag about something or, want to tell you, I'm going to show you something, man, and, I'm going to school you, young, or, man, I know all this knowledge or something like that. But if I know you do, and I am, real curious, and it's something that I'm egging at me, I'm like, let me ask them, man. Let me see where this goes. And usually you have a good turnout off that.
Yeah.
But like I said, my friend always, man,
exactly.
I'm going to take you back to Africa and everything like that. You go, show you some real sisters and everything like that. But I'm like, you're not showing me too much about the culture and everything, man. And we done known each other for... Man, at least 19 years now.
Exactly. And we got Zwayne here saying you can expect someone to know what you want if you don't verbalize it. They said, right. A closed mouth don't get fed. A closed mouth does not get fed.
Yeah, you're right about that. But at the same token, though, like you said, there's people who are teachers who like, man, you know what, this young cat right here, even me, if I'm, like, I work security and I've known security so long, I will give out pointers. And I'll tell the guy, hey, look here, man. I'm not trying to be your supervisor, and I'm not trying to just, dictate to you. But you haven't been in this as long as I have, and I want to see you be successful in it. So here's the do's and don'ts that I can tell you briefly to make it easier for you, You ain't even have to ask me, man. I mean, I feel like I was obligated to pass on what I know to you. So, like, when you get my age, you can do the same.
All right. And she says right here, some Black Americans don't understand. There are many of us who are non-Black Americans who do get it. That's true. That's true.
You don't get what?
She was talking about the expecting someone to. I don't know what that was. Someone expecting you to ask the question, pretty much. Someone asking you questions about certain things, and you answering those certain things. It's a problem.
See, that's the problem when we will say stuff like that to each other, though.
Yeah, and that's where strengthening.
I just want to be like, hey, man, okay, let's break this barrier down with all this. You don't like me, I don't like you thing, and let's just start
fresh.
Yeah.
Start fresh, because, I mean, we know where the animosity comes from. Once we are clear where the problem comes from, and that the problem did not start with us not liking them or with them not liking us at all. It started with that middle person saying, this is, you do this way, you're gonna get this. You do this. They saying this and that about you. You don't want to go back home, because when they were talking about to go back to Africa type of thing before. Why would you want to do that? They're starving over there. It's horrible. Wow, they're starving. That would have been the question that we should have asked. Who initiated that? That was you. And now they're trying to give you advice. The devil was trying to give me advice.
And then they switch up so much. Oh man, you don't want to go back now. It's they used to be. Oh man, why don't you go back to Africa?
Like I said, you got the multiple thoughts.
Take your ass back to Europe.
God, they were criminals, and they formed their own little criminal colony. We call it the Americas. But
they're doing pretty well for themselves, aren't they?
Doing pretty well. So far, how old is America? A little over 200 years old, and hey, doing its thing. But hey, that's what happens when you get a free head start.
Is it 200 now, man? We in the 21st century now.
Yeah, 1776, that was 200. And 2076 will be the 300. So we're charging up the 300 mark for America. What'd she say here? She said, white people, they are the reason that there's such a huge distrust amongst Black Americans, Africans, and West Indians. Like I said before, I prefer not to just say white people. I say white supremacy, because that same lie is told by anyone of any race. They can push it. They can push it. A Hispanic can push that. A black can push that. A white can push that. An Asian can push that. An Eskimo, they ain't pushing nothing but ice. Eskimos are cool. Eskimos are cool. Leave them Eskimos alone. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, they can push it, and it's not helpful for anybody. She says stink. Okay, I can't pull up some of the chats from some of the different locations that we're broadcasting though, because some people are watching in the watch party, some people are watching from the page itself, some people are watching from YouTube. We are connected at all three, so there's a watch party going on, there's YouTube going on, and there is the AiQ page itself that is also going on. And
you got the watch party going.
No, I got the watch party going on.
Oh.
I like to throw multiple inputs, So those over there in the watch party, you can jump into the Facebook page, the AiQ Facebook page, AiQ Radio. That's on Facebook. And you can also call in. We do have the number here. It's 312-554-5785 and get your comments heard live. Yes, we can take those calls. We have the technology. We have the power. I'm giving it to you with my God complex. So it's good. And right now we are competing with the Super Bowl. Yes. We ain't scared of nobody. I ain't scared of NBC, Fox. Nobody. I ain't scared. I will put up my show. Now I don't have any commercials.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we definitely competing, bro.
I ain't got a commercial, but this information is valuable, and this information will be here long after this Super Bowl game is gone.
Well, I mean, we got all month long, man, and even dissect even more issues, or even
all month
talk
long.
about this more.
Definitely. All month long, we will be here every every Sunday. Rain, sleet, or snow, in one form or the other, we will make it happen.
And I appreciate you people tuning in and everything.
Exactly. Like I say, hey, this is how we would talk to each other. If you guys weren't here, we'd still be having this discussion. It's good to expand it out there, put it out there, and get some secondary comments from the outside.
Say secondary comments?
Secondary comments, yeah. We're getting comments. Check this out right here. Look at this comment right here. It's boom. It's from Dwayne again. It says white people. Yeah. The reason that there's such a huge destruction among the black American. Yeah.
I thought we already saw that.
Yeah, we did. I just wrote it again to let you know that the comments are there. They are possible, and the ones that you post will come back up. Okay. She said, take the asses back to Europe. Yeah, indeed. But definitely, I can switch to the live video comments and share that. And then here, invite you to the live. See, this way, I can invite those who are watching the watch party to the live. It's very cool that you can switch in between the two platforms. And all
so let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Hey there, brother Philip Ship.
What is going on with the whole? If I want a black character, I get a black. Excuse me, not a black, but I get a European black.
If I want a black character, if I want a character to play a black American traditional actor, such like as Harriet Tubman or what was that?
I had no problem with that though.
You had no problem with Harriet Tubman. Yeah, okay. Well, some people did have an issue with that. I'm bringing it up as a per se that some people did have an issue with her being that, and then because they were saying which tribe did she originate from, because there was that tribe that worked with the slavers, and there were those who fought against it, and it was a lot of contention around that. But some people, there is contention with every little thing, and that's not a little thing, not to minimize that.
Wait, what did that have to do with her being British?
Well, remember how we were just talking about earlier about these people are British, but they're not British. These people come from Africa. These people come from tribes that we are no longer connected to because of what happened with us being with our racials. So you want to know what tribe she is? No. Wait. No, because like I said, if there you have a question, you want to ask this question. They have a question. You want the answer, we can give you the answer. They'll give you the answer. They ask the question because it's important. This person playing a slave freer could in real life come from a society of slavers themselves. So that would is it important in the acting sense? No. Is it important in the story of this American black woman telling this story about this person? You want this person? You honestly would prefer them to be a black American so that they can share or better put out the black experience. A black American has a better grasp over slavery and what Jim Crow has done to you and what redlining has done to you, all those things, than the European actor or African actor who did not have that part. They know what it's like to be black, yes, because they are black.
So when Denzel Washington played Steve, I can't remember his last name, but he was an African.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've talked about that.
There's a problem.
No, I've talked about, and they also talk about like when Forrest Whitaker play people, Morgan Freeman, they played Mandela. You have these, now these are top tier actors playing these historic figures, of in Africa, in an American movie. You understand? That's the big difference. It's in an American movie. Now, if they went over there to Africa and a Nollywood, which is a Nigerian movie production, and they played, I'm a Nollywood director, and I got Samuel L. Jackson to come to play Gaddafi. I'm like, there are tons of Africans actors here that we could use for this role who could embody Gaddafi and Gaddafi's experience for this African-made movie, for an African audience, which will possibly be seen by the world given this actor's star power. And that's what a lot of people will be going for, that star power. Now, the issue is when you're doing a movie like Harriet, Angela Bassett could have played that role.
Hell no.
You don't think Angela would have had the chops to play that role?
No.
Why not?
First of all,
what in Angela's work would say that she could not cover the dramatic role? Now, the writing and the story was utter bullshit, and I would say that again of that movie.
Okay, maybe
utter
when
bullshit.
she was younger. Maybe when she was younger.
You talk about play. Oh, I'm saying playing Harriet. I'm saying Angela could have played Harriet as embodying the fire, the feeling of what it is to be a black American. I'm not saying that she's playing the Angela that they have her. Oh yeah, and then Joyner also pointed out right here, they were talking about her, aside her being British, many black Americans had an issue with her anti-black tweets. Yeah, Angela Bassett or Viola Davis could have played that role in Harriet. Definitely.
Yeah, Viola Davis.
Definitely.
Yeah.
My thing is, I look for the strength of these actors. These people who make you believe they are who they are. I believe that Angela Bassett was Tina Turner. She turned, boom. She made that happen.
Y'all gonna hate me for saying this, but after I seen Viola Davis when she was in Antoine Fisher, oh yeah, when you said that, yeah, she definitely could have did that.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely could have did these things, so you have a plethora of actresses and actors to pick from, but they go that route because some directors have certain people they want to work with and things like that. But it's like when you get to these touchy subjects of historic history and race, it's kind of important.
And that was Casey Lemons too. And Casey Lemons is American.
I'm sorry, I don't know who Casey Lemons is. Casey
Lemons, she's made Used by You. She's made The Caveman's Valentine. She's an actress. She's more a director now, but she's an actress too.
Yeah. Okay.
You remember Silence of the Lambs? The black roommate of Jodie Foster.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember her. Okay. Yeah, but like I said, there are roles out there that should have been covered by the black American, as opposed to the the British American.
Okay, what movies are these? What? Yeah, what movies? First of all.
Oh no, my number one target was Harriet. That was my number one target right there. it was Harriet, but like I said again, the story was not even worth being written. So that movie, utter trash.
Then again, they could have said that Black Panther was not made. I mean, it was not
comic book.
I understand that.
Fantasy.
I understand that, but he's an African king.
Fantasy, not a real king, not a real kingdom. We have multiple real ones.
He's an African king.
Fantasy.
And he could have been played by one of them, who either African or one of those British American. British.
But again, we say it was an American movie. That's why I gave the whole connotation before of the other movie being it had been like an African movie made by an African production company in Nollywood. Then that's what I said. That you would have the same difference. Whereas when you have American movies made by an American production company, you're making a American movie.
Yeah, we need to solve all of this dysfunction and all of this animosity, because we got problems with who's going to be an actor in this movie and who's going to portray who and everything like that.
Right, because right now we're getting this. It says Daniel Kaluuya is going to play Fred Hampton.
Oh, damn,
They couldn't find another black African American to play Fred Hampton. Fred, California accent having Hampton. I'm sorry, Midwestern accent having Hampton.
I'm about to say that.
Exactly.
You
I know.
remember
I was
who
like,
Fred
I know.
Hampton was,
I know what I'm saying. But I'm saying that's like, whoa, come on, man. I mean, I get that you're doing it for star recognition. He's hot off a project. So yeah, you're doing it for that. But then when it's like, man.
Oh, really? You want star power? Go get Denzel's son. He did Black Klansman. He did a hell of a job in that.
Yeah.
And he's in this movie that's coming out in the summer that's going to make him really big.
What's that?
It's called Tenet.
Tenet. We have to check that out. I have to bring up a clip of Tenet.
Yeah, you of all people should.
Why me of all people?
Because when you look at the trailer, it's really tripped out. Like, it's basically the director of Batman Begins and Inception.
Oh,
this is his new movie.
Yeah, I do like those visuals. That DP is awesome. So see, for me, movies are about the visual first. Like, boom, and then give me your storyline.
Well, yeah, man, for somebody who want to do movies all about race, he doing another one with Fred Hampton. That definitely was about racial tension.
Exactly. So it's like, what I'm saying, he's taking up these roles, and then to put out that statement, that he's not interested in bringing it up. He just wants to be seen as an individual. Like I said, you are not an individual in this world. You operate on your own, but your actions and motives affect lots of people.
I said, man, being an actor, like if you want to be known to be an actor and you can do roles, I mean, I hate to say or bring up Denzel's name, but he's a man who played Malcolm X, and then he's played Man on Fire. He did so many versatile things, and nobody really says anything negative, which they shouldn't say something negative. But to me, he's not just a black good actor. He's a great actor.
He's a great actor. Now, this is the thing, though. You don't take away that he's a black actor. And that's what I'm saying. That is also important. Because if I am in control of a power structure.
He's black, then all.
No, listen. If I am in control over a power structure and the way that the world works, the first thing I want you to do is drop your identity. I want you to blend into this oatmeal. I want you to be as smooth as everybody else. I do not want you standing out. And it's the thing. I would just call you an actor. You are an actor. You are a thespian. You have become something. You are something other than, besides your black existence, the nerve of you to become something other.
So it's the difference between a movie star and a thespian or an actor.
That he said was a movie. you have not only mastered this role, you are this role. When I speak Hamlet from now on, Hamlet's much older than film. But when I speak Hamlet, I would think you, like 19-year-old you, like, that type of thing, and that goes to people's heads. And it's like, where's your head at? Where's your headspace at? So you have to be strong enough to know when somebody's gassing you, and you have to understand that your actions do not just affect you. They affect all those around you. It's much like when children are on their way home from school and you get rowdy on the bus. Those rowdy children on the bus going off, but they're nothing like that. And on their own time or with their parents. But they're definitely that way, with out in the public. And so you bring back this, your kid's been acting this way, and your parenting skills are now shown to be lacking because you don't have control over this person when they're not in front of you, or they feel that they can be completely opposite of what you trained them up to be. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things, man. all this stuff is tied in. Definitely tied in. He is like involved in the game right here.
I'm telling you, man.
And we're going to talk about that in this month also, because sports and people. We're not talking about sports itself, but sports in general.
Let me tell you something, Denal. Something just happened here.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was really, really could do what I usually do, I would have been yelling.
Yeah, he is a fan. So
they just did something that was spectacular, but I'm still cool about it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is an interesting commercial right here. I know, but Captain America's talking in his British accent. Well, close to it, in Boston.
Yeah, and that surprises a lot of people when they hear a lot of actors speaking their native accents. It's like, what? When you hear like Hugh Jackman start talking like, you are not Wolverine.
I don't know though, man. It's a thing with like British actors, and then when they do American voices, and when they do, switch off. Okay, I mean that's a good acting, but when when actors are from Boston for some reason,
it honestly depends on where they're from.
It trips me out because it's just like just listen to the words they're saying. Like, fam, stop talking like you're from Boston now, man, because you're an actor and you can kill that now, man. Why you gotta go back to that?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Well,
he'll say socks to you as an actor,
mm-hmm.
but as Boston socks.
Yeah, and it's like
what?
Like listen to Mark Wahlberg talk. He can turn it off pretty easily with practice. He turns it off really good now. He's gotten really good at it. And I like Mark Wahlberg.
No, the master to me at it is Ben Affleck.
Yeah, Ben Affleck.
When I seen The Town and hearing him talk, I was like, wait. And they're like, yeah, he's from Boston.
You got these kids that come up from the other cities and whatnot. It was like, and that's how you could also tell that you're an American, because when a foreigner does a accent and you can't place it within the country where. Because it's like I have an ear for like where you are in the country, and hell, I have an ear for like where you are within the city. within our own city, we speak differently from the north side to the south side, the west side. There's certain slangs and things that we say and words we drag.
Man, but now all this fooly and
no, not the more hype word switching, but the pacing and sometimes at which we speak. It's like it's completely different. So you get a lot of difference in between that. Look at you looking at slow motion football. What?
They were looking at the interception. See if it was an interception.
Okay. I don't know.
You do know what an interception
I know what an interception is.
Okay.
I know what an interception
I
is.
remember you saying you played a few days.
Yes, I played a few days and I quit. Let me explain my football story to you.
You don't have to me.
It was
because
true.
after all these years of what's going on with their heads and stuff.
Exactly.
Now I can understand.
Now you can
why
see
you quit.
why I quit that. I was on the track team, and the regular track season came to an end, and I was fast, so I was approached and asked would I like to play football, and I'm looking over there, I'm like, oh hell no! Look at the way they hitting each other. I'm not about to do that, But he was like, you fast, you can you'll be what do you call me? I think it was wide receiver. He was like, you'll be a wide receiver, no problem. Nobody's gonna touch you. You so fast, and I'm like, oh, he gassed me up. Wind me up, put the little key in my back and sit me out there. I went out there catching. Catching, that was not too hard. Over the shoulder stuff, doing the drills, that's not too hard. And I played the first game and it was okay. I got dragged to the ground, pulled down, but I didn't get crushed. So whatever, that's cool. And then came some practices, whereas I was like, I need to get hit so I can see what that feels like. Cause I saw people get hit. I was like, I need to feel that, and they, nah, you good, I was like, okay. So we go play a game, and I believe it's Kenwood playing against them, and I had got hit so goddamn hard. I got hit enough to get pushed up into the air, but somebody else to come and T-bone me right in the middle of the air. So I went up and I went around and spiraled down to the ground. I got up, I unbuckled that helmet, I put that thing on the bench, and I walked my ass back to the school. That was it. I was done. I'm like, no. This ain't for me. This right here is way more valuable than this little game we play. Sure, because I saw stars. So I would not do that ever again.
And even though you had players who started in high school, I think that you really gotta have a love for the game when you're a young kid, when they having you play.
Right, trained up into it, so that you get used to it. Oh, Zwerna says, when I try to speak in an American accent, you told me I sound like an African trying to speak English. Exactly. I did say that. I said that. I said that. Those were my words. I did, because accent. I like accents.
But you just heard us say that somebody from Boston, okay, but I had cousins from St. Louis. Hair. That's supposed to be hair.
Her. Right there. Got all that Nelly in their throat.
So just speak how you speak.
Speak how you speak. Proper English. Proper English. That's always been a bone of contention. Proper English. First of all, we're Americans. We don't speak proper English. English people speak what? Proper English. We don't. There is no proper English in America. We have an American English. And now it's even, when you look at certain list of things, it says, are you speaking English, British, or English American? Because these Englishes are not the same. They're different. Islanders speak British English. People from the Jamaica and Trinidad, Barbados, they speak British English because they go through the British school system.
You mean they speak the King's language?
They speak the Queen's language.
Oh, that's not how it was.
They speak the Queen's English. Now they have certain patois that they put on that. Woo! If they get to going, you don't understand a word.
Remember I asked you before about that, like how did we come up with all different slang and languages and stuff like that?
Yeah, shortcut to the words, quick to the chase. It's basically we speak the way we speak to become familiar with each other, make you more comfortable around the other person. Like, ever heard the term? It's like what I was gonna say before I said it. And so within just regular everyday to day language, us talking to each other, we started to develop a shorthand of way of speaking. You will understand what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying before I even get through with the whole sentence. They used to make fun of it on the airplane movies. A Jabba was a Jabba Zam. You're like, what? But they were making fun of jab talk, and how in the hood and communities, a lot of people understood each other. Some people didn't understand what I'm saying, but you got the gist of what I was saying.
Now, here's the interesting thing about what you're saying.
What's that?
Okay, Ken Ivory Wayans, the struggles with blacks, we were talking about Hollywood and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that they used to come up, we talking about Caucasians who wrote or who were doing scripts. They used to come up with their own job or say stuff, put something in the script. And they was like, what is this? Oh man, that's job. No. Nobody talks like this in any hood or any neighborhood. Y'all made this up.
Yeah, man, I had a whole broad on a second sandwich. What?
So when you said that, and then I had a mentor that I worked with. He said that he used to watch all those black exploitation movies. Mm-hmm. And he said they were making up making up languages too. Yeah. He stepped on this 4 times and his dilly-dally. And he's like, nobody in the street speaks that.
But they were making up they were blowing up shorthand speech. That's all. They're just making it bigger and bigger and bigger until when you get to the audiences of mass, she's like, "What? I don't know what you're talking about. What is this? What is this of which you speak?" So he's still involved in the game over there. He's watching.
No, doesn't understand. He just look at it as the World Series of soccer, how that is.
No, that wouldn't affect me that way either. Well, for me, mine would be Top Fuel drag racing. I'm all about that.
My cousin will
that's
love
one.
each other.
That's one man on the line gets another man his machine.
You want me to hook you up with my cousin? He works up there at the track.
No, I don't have a car at Top Fuel drag racing.
I thought you like watching it.
No. Oh, in person it's too damn loud. No. I'm not there for the thrill, the smell, and all. No. I'm a little bit more than that. No, I'm there for like the technology and the power. That, and I can observe that from far. I don't have to be there to get it.
Oh. Okay.
No. Very practical in that sense.
I got you drift.
Yes. Very practical there. We got there. Very cool there.
Now they ask me, where'd you watch the game? Watched it at the Nars house where he harassed me and told me, man, I was in the game too much.
Because you're in the middle of a television production. Broadcasting.
And I'm still involved.
All over the world. Your thoughts are elsewhere.
I'm still involved.
Your thoughts are focused on about 40 white men. And that's very weird. No. Let's see. What is that? Let me see. It says, I wasn't trying to speak like an American to hide my accent. I was just doing it in jest. Yeah, but you can't. Some accents are really hard to hide. Are really, really hard to hide.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Okay, now we are winding it up. Hey, how you doing? I see you waving. Touchdown for the Chiefs. Okay.
Who was that?
That's John.
I told you he's going, yeah.
He's in the watch party. He's over there in the watch party. But yeah, that is it. So to wrap up what we were talking about today. We initially started with Daniel Kaluuya and his disdain for being asked, or irritation for being asked the questions about being a black actor in certain movies, or the black standpoint from the role of which he's acting things, or whether the black community feel about he does not want to be bombarded with those questions. He more or less is saying that he would like to be seen as an actor, and please just ask some extra questions.
But he continues to take movies that are about race.
That are about race and that do define. Get Out, define. So Get Out.
I mean, Get Out is one thing, but now you're about to do a movie about Fred Hampton that everybody in this city knows the story behind that.
Yeah. So that's really going to be a thing. But like I say, you got to keep your eye on what's going on, because they are trying to pull the wool over as often as possible, and they will use anybody to do it to you. It's just a shame that we make it easy for them to do so. Make it a little bit too easy to do so. Yeah, push up there. Yeah. Yes. And so, with that said, I have been Mr. Romano.
Oh, Don Rico here. Well, we're signing out.
And we'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, like, comment, share, and subscribe today. I know it was rough because with the Super Bowl, and it's a big American thing, and you guys are very American. Oh, you show me.
Americans all across the country. I mean, all the world. Yeah.
It's not as big as you think it is. But for Americans, it's awesome. And I'm there for that. It brings the people together. Makes you forget that your president is screwing you over. So,
and half of the team, I mean, like whoever wins this, half the team is not going to probably be at the White House anyway.
Right. Because how would that work? Doesn't they go and see the president and all that stuff?
Yeah, but he's proven to be so much of an ass that a lot of teams do not go there, or like maybe 5 of the 20 teammates.
I mean,
show up.
He's gonna pass out the burgers and whatnot like he tried to do before, and kill those young men.
That was so damn disrespectful.
Hey, he saw them as a bunch of kids. They're kids these are adults. You're feeding them fatty foods.
Regardless, if you are known already, I don't know what I'm saying, known already.
Yeah.
If I know you can get this already over where you are originating from, why would I not give you a healthy meal or give them a steak?
Something different, some alternative.
In the White House, you get anything you want. Why would you not want to show your guests? This is like, man, hey,
because
I'm hungry.
I
got some chili, but I'm going to make you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
He is a perpetual child. And he puts that on display as often as possible. It is ridiculous, but that is who they put in. It's sad. But again, this has been AiQ All in Question. We like to thank you all for coming out. You have a good evening, and we are out. Oh yeah, again.
Now, how was that? Were you intellectually stimulated? Did you learn something new? Good. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And that's a wrap.